Bitcoin revving up for another breakout, and people literally getting thousands of dollars worth of an airdrop in their wallet. We'll talk about what that's about. Keep watching. Hey, welcome to BlockRoots. I'm Josh, and on behalf of my co-founder, Karen Clark, we just want to say welcome to the channel. Here on BlockRoots, nothing is financial advice, but we like to give updates on Bitcoin in the crypto market each and every week. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do that below. Click the red button to get notifications, and you'll receive those. And just know, if you comment on a video that we create, we'll put you in a $100 giveaway each and every week. We're going to go ahead and do that on the next video, so just be on the lookout for that. So go ahead, if you want to be in that next drawing, make sure to leave a comment on this video below. And so nothing is sensational. If you're into that, if you're into practical analysis, just go ahead and keep watching. It's going to be a quick one, guys. It's actually my anniversary, so I'm going out this weekend, so just know that. And I just want to go ahead and just give a quick update on Bitcoin, as well as the mega airdrop that everybody's receiving right now who use Uniswap, and I'll explain that, and we'll talk about that because it's the most bullish asset today in the market. So let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, right now, we're currently in a range between 10,600 and 11,100, okay? And so if you see what this is about, basically the top of the previous range right here, after Bitcoin dropped around 18% from 12,000 all the way down to 9,800 or so. Of course, people were fearing this pullback of at least 30%, but it did pull back about 18%, not even quite 20%, I believe. And so the CME gap, of course, if you know about CME Bitcoin futures, they close on the weekend. So there is a gap typically in price, and typically 90% of the time, price finds its way back to the gap. And so it didn't quite fill the gap, but it did explore it down below 9,900 right here. And so it did bounce here. Price did make its way up. And the important thing is that the top of this range area right here, Bitcoin did break up above it. And of course, it came back down. Nice, what we call bullish retest of the support, and then bounced from there and has been going on up since. Now, if you look at where Bitcoin has recently peaked out here at the local high on the smaller time frames, here in the lower time frames, you're going to notice that the area that did act as support before Bitcoin did break down to around 9,800, that is now acting as resistance. And so really the key levels that we want to watch on lower time frames include around 10,600 and 11,100, okay? And so I want to see Bitcoin break out of this range right here and eventually break back above 11,100 and really continue on up. I would like to see, even up here, this level around 11,245. This is really where Bitcoin held as support, and then broke down through it. Of course, the bearish retest of support turned resistance, and then it broke down from there. So personally, for me, I not only want Bitcoin to break up here, but then I want to see it break up above 11,245 and then make its way up from there. And that's my preference as far as bullishness. Now, I don't want to see it break down below 10,600. And really, there's a couple of reasons why. One in particular here in the lower time frames, right, is because this area was basically the resistance before. And so, of course, if we break down here and we don't bounce and we come back down, then we're going to be back in this entire range right here, and that's not a good thing. I would expect us to continue to move on down from there if Bitcoin does break back below 10,600. So on the lower time frames, it's really what we're watching right here, okay? These price horizontal structures actually do work really well, and they work really good for technical analysis as far as price action. So just keep a lookout on that. If we do actually zoom out and look at higher time frames, right, again, this is the daily time frame. You're going to notice that the same area, right, the same level right here has worked really well for these wicks on the higher time frames and has held as support and resistance right here as well as right here, right on the daily time frame. So this area is actually a pretty key area when it comes down to resistance, okay, even on the higher time frames, that's going to be important. You're going to notice too, again, 10,600 is where we bounced at as far as the daily chart too. So for us to stay over that, it's going to be a good thing. And if we do range back and forth the next couple of days, it is the weekend. We do tend to have price action that's not as crazy, a little bit more chop. Expect that. But as soon as we break above this 11,100, 11,245 on the 4 hour or above, or below 10,600, that's going to probably decide whether it's going to be bullish or bearish overall. Now, if you look on the weekly time frame, again, a lot of green lines right here. And so let me just kind of scroll up here, zoom in. You're going to notice right this area, which is around 11,500. Again, that was the previous resistance multiple times before we broke down back down below to 3,000 or so, and then came back up. We were able to reclaim this area. We did break down again 18% or so. We have since bounced and we're making our way back up. Over the past couple of weeks, it's looked really good. So again, to reclaim this area of 11,100 that even on the weekly chart acted as support, to reclaim that and move on up, hopefully break back above this area, right above 11,520, to break above there and then continue on up. Specifically, I do want to see us break back above the previous before where it fell at. Okay, so that's going to be super important. But probably most of all, we definitely want to see, we want to definitely see price stay above this area that held us down for so long. And that area is actually around 10,500, 10,600, right in this area right here, where even price did reject off that. But again, we have broke back above it. So we want to see price break back above 10,600, both from the lower time frame and on the higher time frame. So that's going to definitely be really important when it comes to Bitcoin. So that's what I want you to watch this week. 10,600, 11,100, 11,245. Those are going to be important areas as far as both lower and higher time frames when it comes to Bitcoin. Now, I want to go ahead and talk about Uniswap, but before I do that, exciting news, by the way, Phemex has actually listed more assets, specifically with DeFi, right? So this has been really hot. A lot of people have been wanting to trade these assets because they've had a lot of volume. They've had a lot of great liquidity. So therefore, Phemex said, let's go ahead and list these on our exchange. And so what these include Polkadot, Compound, Bitcoin Cash, which is, of course, not a DeFi. It's an old school, but they did add that. Yearn Finance, Lind, Algo, and Cardano. So all these you can now trade on Phemex.com, which is really exciting. And I do expect more assets to come, potentially even Uniswap, because it's been probably the hottest asset right now. And if we go ahead and look at the Uniswap chart, amazing, right? This has only been out for the past couple of days here. And when it first came out, the thing about it was a lot of people sold, and I even initially sold my Uniswap that I received, and I bought it back because just the fundamentals of Uniswap, UNI, have been pretty amazing as far as what's to come. Now, what am I even talking about? Now, Uniswap.info is where you can see Uniswap is a decentralized exchange that a lot of people use. Some of you don't use it. But again, it's going to become more popular, I do believe, as more people adopt the decentralized exchange, because there's no KYC. You can literally trade any asset on it that's Ethereum based. And it's definitely a really good protocol overall. You're going to notice the fees right here. Just the fees alone on Uniswap are over $1.2 million per day. Liquidity is over 1.6 billion, and the volume is over 400 million, which is well and above most centralized exchanges. So this is a very much used exchange. A lot of people like it. I've used it for a long time. And one thing that you can do with this exchange to provide liquidity, I mean, you can actually provide your own Ethereum and any other token to provide liquidity to allow people to buy and sell on Uniswap. And anybody who did that got at least 400 free tokens of UNI over the past couple of days, okay? That's a big deal because right now, currently, the price is around $8.50, okay? If you take 400 on my calculator right now and multiply that by 850, okay, that's $3,400 per airdrop per person, okay? Now, the good news is that some people had multiple wallets, such as myself. I had multiple wallets. So I not only got 400 tokens, I got like 1,600 tokens. So right now, my current airdrop is, what is that, over $12,000, right? So it's been really amazing as far as this goes for people who use Uniswap. And I do believe that this asset continues on up. And currently, I think it ranks around 30th overall for market cap. And I do believe that we're going to get well and beyond that, okay? I believe that Uniswap or Uni will likely be a top 20 asset overall, potentially a top 10 asset, which would mean to put this in a top 10 asset, it would have to be $30. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be $30 today. It might not be $30 for weeks from now, and it might not ever hit that. But I do believe, as far as the fundamentals of Uniswap and the amount of people that use Uniswap, that this will someday be probably $30, at least over 20. So I do expect there to be, as you see in the chart right here, right, naturally you see an uptrend, then a sell-off, then uptrend, sell-off, uptrend, sell-off. We have uptrend over the past few hours. I do expect a sell-off potentially, right, to this main level, okay? So if I were to bring this up, I do believe that we could potentially see Uniswap come back down to this area around 579 and continue to move on up from there, okay? So look at Uniswap. If you want to learn more about the Uniswap protocol, you can just go to uniswap.org/blog, and then you can go to /uni, okay? UNI, and it talks to you all about the UNI token, what it's about, and there seems to be a lot of bullish fundamentals. One thing that you get when you own the UNI token is that you can, of course, own and stake, and you can participate in liquidity. You can also earn fees. And as far as that goes to anybody who has not received it, if you have provided liquidity, go to Uniswap Protocol on Twitter. Uniswap Protocol. Make sure that it's the right one, 71,000 followers. And you can go ahead and click the address here, and that will lead you. If you go to your wallet, you can connect that and receive your Uniswap tokens if you did provide liquidity for Uniswap. So make sure to do that. Now, as far as fundamentals, you even see Chainlink here say, with the launch of UniETH price reference feed by Chainlink. So this is bullish on Chainlink as well, but he says we will soon see Uni synthetics, Uni futures, options, swaps, collateral, and more within DeFi. Now, he's talking about the power of Chainlink, but not only that, that's the power and probably the bullish fundamentals behind Uni. I do believe with so much money behind Uniswap that we're going to see this token continue to go up in value along with other types of instruments such as synthetics, futures, options, swaps, and collaterals. So just be on the lookout for that. I do believe that people who hold Uniswap are going to have more than just earning fees on a weekly basis. And the fees, again, are going to be really good. Again, 1.2 million. I do expect the fees to go up over time. But as far as Uniswap goes, it is probably the most bullish asset. I do expect this to continue on up. This is kind of reminding me somewhat of a year in finance chart, right? Where year in finance, people can't believe that it hit almost, $30,000 to $40,000, and it's still up there. And I do believe that Uniswap is the same way, to where it just keeps grinding on up. And from my knowledge, there are a lot of big players, from what I've heard of, who have been trying to accumulate this. But also, too, expect some big sell-offs, because there are a lot of people from their competitors, such as SushiSwap, that also receive this airdrop, probably millions of dollars worth. So expect some big sell-offs. You can also short Uni on Binance as well as FTX. And of course, they have a conflict of interest with Sushi. And so do expect overall that they're going to sell off some tokens and short at the same time. You're going to see this price go down quite a bit, but I do believe that we're going to see that price bought up on Uniswap over time, and this continue to trend up at least over $15, if not over $20 possibly this week. And that is just my personal analysis of that, and that's my personal thoughts on that overall. So as far as one of the most bullish assets, I would wait to buy this on dips, and if it does dip below $6 down here around $5.79, I do believe that that is a buy for Uni. So with that said, continue to watch Bitcoin overall between 10,600 in between 11,100 here. These are the two areas that we're watching for Bitcoin for the weekend close. And with that said, you guys, we'll talk to you next week, probably on Monday. But as far as that goes, Kenner and Clark, we just want to say thanks for watching the channel. You guys be safe this weekend, trade effectively, and we'll talk to you guys soon.